the Supra really has that analog feel. You can feel everything the car is doing. I've set it up in a way where it's really not going to bite you back, but it just has that real like man and machine kind of vibe to it. So this is a 1984 Toyota Celica Supra. These are sold between 1982 and 1986. Toyota wanted to compete with the 240 and 280, and so they took the Celica, which was a 4-cylinder, and they made the front end of it longer. And for this version, it still shares a lot with those old Celicas. So originally the car was about 2,800 pounds, about 165 horsepower. For its day, it was a good car, like road and track rated it really well. But now it's a little heavier, it's almost 3,000 pounds, but it makes about 570 crank horsepower. So obviously it's had to be upgraded heavily. It's got upgraded brakes, they're Wilwood 4-piston. It's got upgraded suspension, T3 in the front with coilovers. It's got in the back heavy duty springs. It's got adjustable shocks. It's got, the 2JZ running about 18 PSI boost, pretty small turbo. So I mean, I get full boost pressure from 4,000 RPM all the way to rev limit. So the track, I mean, I'm always able to access the full power of the engine. It makes over 400 horsepower through the whole useful power band. It's got a R154 transmission from a later model Mark III. And then that custom 8-inch diff. It's a diff that's from a Japanese domestic market Toyota Cresta. Pretty much bolts into the subframes on this car, and then internally it's the same as a Mark III Supra diff, so I can use all the parts from Mark III Supra, ring and pinion. And then I actually got a limited slip unit from a Scion FRS, because they have an 8-inch Toyota diff, and they have a really good limited slip. And then it's got these aftermarket wheels. They're from Image Wheels in the UK. They're custom made. They're a 17 by 8.5 front with the 245/40 R17, and then they're a 18 by 10 inch rear with the 285/30 R18. I need lots of tire for this car because it's got lots of power on the street. So yeah, it's a fast car for sure. When I was a kid, I used to work on cars with my dad, and it wasn't really serious, oil changes and basic stuff. And then when I got into engineering school, I joined a racing team. So they have a team, it's called Formula SAE, and they build a open wheel racing car from scratch every year, and they take it down and compete against hundreds of other universities. So that gave me a really good kind of technical background, and also just doing a lot more with engines and vehicles than you would just in your dad's garage sort of thing. I like having something unique. Like the fancy cars, it's like, anybody can just go buy them. But some of the older stuff I have, they're very unique. Some of the stuff with this car, like the drivetrain, like the rear diff and stuff, I mean, I'm the only guy that's done it. So it's kind of nice to have something that's really unique. It's nice for me to come out here and work in the shop and kind of do something different. And it's a good release for me. This summer I did a road trip with my daughter, and so I'm trying to get her into cars, and so we did a road trip all through interior BC, and it was just so much fun, and she really enjoyed it. And I think it's important to just not necessarily have a purpose, but just kind of go to just enjoy the day, and you don't need to be the fastest or the best at something as long as you're having a good time.